In the far reaches of the galaxy, where stars flickered like distant candles and entire worlds spun silently in endless night, the Valorians ruled without question. For thousands of years, their empire stretched across countless star systems, their power absolute and unquestioned. Their ships were sleek and swift, their weapons unmatched, and their minds sharp with knowledge and strategy far beyond any other species. The Valorians had never faced a threat they could not crush or outwit. Their diplomats spoke with calm authority, and their armies moved like shadows that no enemy could touch. Every race in the galaxy knew the Valorians' name and bowed in fear and respect. They were certain that no force, no matter how desperate or clever, could stand against them. Yet far beyond their borders, a tiny spark flickered unnoticed. A small probe launched by a species known as humans, a race that was little more than a curiosity to the vast and ancient Valorian Empire. When the probe crossed into Valorian space, it did not raise alarms or provoke urgency. Instead, it was met with quiet amusement. The Valorian leaders gathered to study this strange primitive artifact, its technology crude compared to their own. They laughed quietly at the simple signals the probe sent back, signals that revealed a species still struggling to reach the stars, still bound to their small blue world. To the Valorians, humanity was a childish novelty, insignificant and slow, hardly worth serious attention. Yet even as they dismissed the probe and its creators, a faint sense of curiosity began to grow among some Valorian scholars and soldiers. What could this species want? What could they possibly hope to achieve in the vast darkness of space? No one expected the answer, nor the storm that would follow. The Valorians' confidence was deep, their pride vast, and their belief in their own invincibility unshakable. They had faced countless foes, some ruthless, others cunning, and had always emerged victorious. But in their hearts they never imagined that fear, a feeling so foreign to their kind, might one day creep into their minds. For now the galaxy was calm, the stars shining peacefully, and humanity was just a whisper on the wind, a tiny ripple, in the vast ocean of space. But that whisper would soon become a roar, and the calm before the storm was about to end. When the Valorian scientists detected the presence of a human emissary ship near their space, they immediately captured it and prepared to invite its crew for a diplomatic meeting. The Valorians expected an easy conversation, one where they would calmly explain their dominance and demand obedience, as they had done countless times before with other species. They believed the humans would quickly realize their place in the galaxy and submit without resistance. But from the moment the humans arrived at the Valorian command station, everything was different from what the Valorians had anticipated. The human crew did not approach with fear or respect, but with confidence and a strange kind of boldness. They refused to bow or speak in the polite, careful manner the Valorians were used to. Instead, their words were blunt, honest, and unyielding, demanding equal recognition rather than submission. This shocked the Valorian diplomats who had never encountered such defiance. The humans' technology, though not as advanced in many ways, included unexpected features and powerful surprises that the Valorians had not seen before. Their ships moved in ways the Valorians considered reckless but effective. The humans spoke openly about their own history, about struggles, wars, and a stubborn will to survive against all odds. This raw honesty was unsettling. As talks continued, tensions rose quickly. The Valorians tried to push the humans toward surrender, but the humans stood firm, refusing to accept any terms that placed them below Valorian power. Suddenly, a small skirmish broke out, a clash born from miscommunication and rising tempers. The Valorians, confident in their superior weapons and tactics, expected the humans to be crushed easily. Instead, they found their enemy adapting swiftly to every attack. The humans moved quickly, changing their strategies on the fly, surprising the Valorian commanders with their flexibility and fierce determination. What shocked the Valorians most was the humans' unwillingness to retreat or give up, fighting back with a ferocity that no other species had shown before. Their courage inspired their own soldiers and confused the Valorian forces, who were used to enemies breaking under pressure. This encounter, though small, marked the first real challenge to Valorian supremacy. It planted a seed of doubt among the Valorian leaders about whether humanity could truly be controlled or defeated so easily. The humans' behavior was unlike anything the Valorians had faced: brave, unpredictable, and full of a spirit that refused to bow. This meeting, meant to be a simple diplomatic formality, had become the spark of a much larger conflict, one that would test the limits of both species and change the fate of the galaxy forever. As the uneasy peace shattered and tensions grew sharper, the Valorians decided to show humanity the true meaning of power. They unleashed their most advanced warships, massive vessels bristling with the latest weapons and guarded by fleets of smaller, fast fighters. Their plan was simple: to crush the humans quickly before they could cause any real trouble. But the humans did not respond as expected. Instead of meeting the Valorian fleets head-on in traditional battles, the humans vanished like ghosts among the stars, striking suddenly and disappearing again before the Valorians could react. They used guerrilla tactics, small groups attacking vital points, then retreating to hidden locations where even the Valorian sensors struggled to find them. Their tactics were unlike anything the Valorians had ever seen, combining speed, surprise, and careful planning with a fierce will to survive. The Valorian commanders soon realized that their usual strategies and overwhelming firepower were not enough. Their most advanced artificial intelligences, designed to analyze and predict enemy moves with near-perfect accuracy, failed repeatedly against the humans' unpredictable behavior. Each time the AI suggested a plan, the humans found a way to counter it, adapting faster than the machines could calculate. This created confusion and frustration within the Valorian ranks. Officers who had once been confident now whispered fears behind closed doors. The idea that a weaker and less technologically advanced species could outmaneuver them was almost unthinkable. Slowly, an unfamiliar feeling began to spread, a creeping, unsettling emotion the Valorians had heard about but never truly experienced before. It was fear. Not just the fear of losing a battle, but a deep, gnawing fear of the unknown, of an enemy that did not play by the rules. The humans' relentless determination and refusal to give up inspired those on their side and unnerved those who opposed them. Even when outnumbered and outgunned, humanity found ways to strike unexpected blows that damaged Valorian supply lines, disabled critical systems, and lowered morale. The Valorian soldiers, once proud and unshakable, now found themselves constantly on edge, questioning whether victory was still within their grasp. Battles stretched on for days, each more intense and dangerous than the last. The galaxy's great empire, which had always been the hunter, was now being hunted. The humans' courage and cleverness became their greatest weapons. With every clash, they showed the Valorians that being unpredictable was their greatest strength, that survival was not just about superior technology, but about the heart and spirit to keep fighting against impossible odds. As the conflict dragged on, the Valorians understood that this war was unlike any other they had fought. They were no longer the unstoppable force they believed themselves to be. The humans, with their fierce will and unyielding courage, were teaching them a harsh lesson. Fear is not just a weakness. Sometimes it is a signal that something new and powerful has arrived, something that can change the course of history forever. The calm confidence of the Valorian Empire was slipping away, replaced by a tense uncertainty. In the silent reaches of space where once only stars watched coldly, a new story was unfolding. One where humanity was not just surviving, but challenging the very order of the universe itself. Despite being smaller in number and lacking the vast technology of the Valorian Empire, humans began to turn the tide of the war with their creativity and fierce resilience. They knew that brute strength alone could not win this fight, so they sought allies among the many smaller alien factions that the Valorians had long oppressed and overlooked. These species had suffered quietly under Valorian rule for centuries, their voices drowned out by the Empire's power and pride. But now, inspired by humanity's unexpected courage, they found hope and a reason to resist. Slowly, an alliance formed, a diverse coalition of races united by a common enemy and a shared desire for freedom. This alliance brought fresh ideas, new technologies and strategies that the Valorians had never imagined. Human engineers adapted alien technology in surprising ways, creating weapons and defenses that combined the best of many worlds. Tactics that once relied on overwhelming firepower shifted toward speed, precision, and coordination between different species. The Valorians, proud and confident, struggled to keep up. Their arrogance blinded them to the growing threat until it was almost too late. The humans and their allies launched daring raids on supply lines, sabotaging critical resources and forcing the Valorians to spread their forces thin across multiple fronts. The once unbreakable Valorian formations began to show cracks, and the Empire's grip on its territories weakened. The defining moment came during a massive battle near a vital star system, where the Valorian flagship, an enormous warship that symbolized their power, faced the full force of the human-led coalition. The flagship's shields, which had never been breached before, flickered under the barrage of coordinated strikes. Human pilots, supported by alien fighters, executed bold maneuvers that confused the Valorian commanders. They exploited weaknesses in the ship's defenses, targeting critical systems with precise attacks. After hours of relentless fighting, the flagship suffered severe damage, forcing it to retreat for repairs. This defeat shocked the Valorians and sent waves of disbelief through their empire. The flagship was more than a warship. It was a symbol of Valorian pride and invincibility. Its damage echoed across the galaxy like thunder, inspiring hope in oppressed worlds and shaking the confidence of the Empire's loyalists. For the first time, the Valorians faced a reality where their dominance was no longer guaranteed, where their empire could be challenged and even broken. The humans, once dismissed as weak and irrelevant, had become a symbol of resistance and change. Their alliance showed that unity, courage, and ingenuity could overcome even the greatest odds. As news of the flagship's damage spread, the Valorian leadership was forced to rethink their strategies and confront the possibility that their era of unquestioned power might be ending. The galaxy watched closely, knowing that the next moves would decide the fate of countless worlds. In this turning point, the humans proved that the smallest spark could ignite a blaze strong enough to change the universe forever. The great Valorian Empire, once unshakable and proud, now found itself standing at the edge of a new and uncertain future. The damage to their flagship and the relentless resistance from humanity and their allies had shaken the very foundations of Valorian power. For the first time in their history, the Valorians were forced to reconsider everything they believed about strength, control, and dominance. The humans, a species they once dismissed as weak and insignificant, had proven to be unlike any enemy the Valorians had faced before. The terror humanity inspired was not rooted in fear alone, but in something deeper: an unpredictable courage, an unbreakable spirit, and a will to survive that refused to be crushed by overwhelming odds. This new kind of terror unsettled the Valorian leaders as they realized that their advanced technology and long history of conquest could not guarantee victory against a force driven by heart and unity. Slowly, the empire that had ruled the stars for millennia began to open its doors to peace talks, hesitant and wary, yet recognizing that endless war would only lead to ruin. These negotiations were tense, filled with suspicion and old wounds, but they marked a turning point. The Valorians no longer saw humanity as a primitive species to be crushed. Instead, they began to respect them as worthy adversaries, capable of challenging the established order. This respect was hard-earned and fragile, built on the blood and bravery shown by humans and their allies. The story of the humans' rise, from a minor curiosity to a galaxy-changing power, spread throughout the cosmos, inspiring hope among oppressed worlds and reminding the Valorians that no empire is invincible. In the quiet moments between negotiations, Valorian commanders and diplomats quietly acknowledged that humanity had changed the rules of the game. No longer would any species underestimate the humans or dismiss their potential. The universe was vast and full of unknown dangers, but humanity had proven that courage, resilience, and determination could carve a place even among the stars. As the uneasy peace settled in, a new era dawned, one where the Valorians and humanity, once enemies, stood on the brink of coexistence. The galaxy watched closely, knowing that this fragile truce could either become the foundation for lasting harmony or the spark for future conflicts. But one thing was clear. In a universe where nothing had once made the Valorians afraid, humanity had shown them a new kind of terror, born not from destruction, but from the power of hope and the unyielding will to survive and thrive. The future was uncertain, but it belonged to those brave enough to face it.